motion at this time to...
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to say something again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I have no problem with referring it to our COG, the sandbag, if you will. But I can't support 3 in that my district is very different than anyone else's at this point. It's primarily for municipalities, a very small unincorporated area that would lend itself to any kind of, it really wouldn't work necessarily because I don't have much to support it there. But I do have 4 very vibrant cities. And in the discussions I've had with them, all 4 stand very strong that they do not want to go with 3. They would just as soon continue as they have, which would allow special permits on certain days, and they limit it typically to 4 days a year where they would have trucks that would be available. One of them, of course, is Ontario, which has Citizens Business Bank Arena, which had an event there that was rather well supported, and I think they enjoyed that, but once again, they want to limit it. And so I can be supportive of 2 as a result of the discussions I've had with my cities. 3 doesn't work for them. So that would be where I'll stand on this.
All right. I'm going to address the first motion. I have a motion for option 3, and I have a second at this.
Why don't you just share your position, and then we'll know whether we should do a substitute motion for 2 instead, because it's your call.
Listen to that. That's mighty convenient, isn't it?
Just
From
make
the
it faster.
presenter.
Tell us what you want.
All right. I will not. Lunch, yeah. I will not be supporting option number 3 at this time, and I will state my reasons why very simply. Number 1, we're venturing into brand new territory. We've not yet articulated all of the obvious obstacles that we will encounter, let alone all of the hidden areas that will have to be addressed. It's important that I also note that I had an objection from Mr. Art Santoya, who owns Super Burrito right here on 5th and Waterman, wanted to include that into the record, that he felt a bit of an unfair advantage moving forward with option 3, and obviously even 2, but we need to venture, as I said, into this new arena. With that said, I also want to be able to address many of the good information line items that were presented to us by the speakers. Again, we have individuals that are very experienced and have articulated themselves as to how either they operate their businesses and or how these type of venues are operated in the respective cities that they do business in. And it's important that we move that forward. And I wanted to also include the fact that the city of San Bernardino has a higher sales tax rate than the rest of the county. 8% over, or as opposed to the 7.75 countywide. My question would be, would the food trucks selling in the city pay the base rate or the higher city rate? And if they only pay the base rate, could it be placing the brick and mortar restaurants at a disadvantage in the city or in any other area who have charged more to compensate for the higher rate? Because we're all out there looking for the best price for lunch. Many of us are on a fixed budget, and the fact is that people after a while settle, by word of mouth, settle into a nice habit, saying I can spend $7, I can max $8.50 a day on lunch, given the different incomes, desires. We have to look at these venues and how they're going to impact our local established long-term businesses. The other thing that I was thinking and I was thinking of the swap meet venue, and I don't think it was mentioned. The swap meet venue, whether it's the sale of food or the sale of used items or